This year, India has the presidency of G20. And as you see this video, there are a host of foreign ministers from G20 countries who have made their way all the way to New Delhi. And they're having these various meetings with Dr. Jaishankar and other stakeholders, even amongst them. And in all this, Prime Minister Modi, his speech has become viral. Watch a part of his speech here.
We must all acknowledge that multilateralism is in crisis today. The architecture of global governance created after the Second World War was to serve two functions. First, to prevent future wars by balancing competing interests. Second, to foster international cooperation on issues of common interests. The experience of the last few years, financial crisis, climate change, pandemic, terrorism, and wars clearly shows that global governance has failed in both its mandates.
So, what he says essentially in this speech is that multilateralism has failed. And this is how I analyze what Prime Minister Modi said. The United Nations was actually formed in 1945, right after the Second World War. And it was formed with one primary aim in mind, that there should be peace in this world. Has the United Nations managed to live up to those tall promises? Absolutely not. It could not stop America invading countries across continents. It could not stop the death of millions of innocent people. It could not stop the Ukraine and Russia war. In fact, the United Nations has not been able to stop wars and conflict across the world. And there is now this time, this urgency to relook at what the world is doing and how we need to look and reformat perhaps the United Nations and other multilateral bodies. Hi, this is Major Gaurav Arya and you're watching Checkmate. So ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly what the Prime Minister said. He said that in the past few years we have seen that multilateralism has failed, world governance has failed, and it is time to look anew at the rising challenges. And he said that countries are going under the debt trap. There is debt diplomacy happening in the world. Sustainable development looks further and further away every year because we are not approaching these things right. Now, whatever Prime Minister Modi has said, this is not going to be music to the ears of the Western countries. I'm sure the US will not like it. I'm sure Europe will not like it. But these are facts. And once India has said that it wants to take leadership of the global South, what is India saying? It's not just about bankrolling credit. It's not just about building infrastructure. This is about India saying that we will be diplomats for the global South. We are going to become voices for those countries that are voiceless, small countries which do not have diplomatic heft, countries which do not have a standing at the big table. They don't have a seat at the big table. India does. So India is going to be their voice and India is going to be speaking about them. Now, another thing that has happened is, I've made notes about this. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has told his Chinese counterpart, Qin Gang, Foreign Minister Qin Gang of China, he has said that ties between India and China are abnormal. Now, this is a very big deal. This is a very big thing for the Foreign Minister of India to say to his Chinese counterpart. But I think Dr. Jaishankar is now famous for blunt speak. And somebody asked him, he said that, you're using words like terrorism for Pakistan. And, do you think this is the diplomatic way to speak? And this is exactly what Dr. Jaishankar said. He said that, I'm telling the truth. And words to that effect, I'm telling the truth. Being diplomatic does not mean that you do not tell the truth. And this is again Dr. Jaishankar telling the truth to his Chinese counterpart. Our ties with you are abnormal. While we may have, $125, $130 billion worth of trade between China and India, but that doesn't somehow cancel the fact that 1 million armed men and women are staring each other in the eye across the line of actual control. India's side and China's side. And China started this. China brought its troops, armed troops, right to the line of actual control, in violation of various agreements and protocols that China and India were signatories of. Now, where does this stop? Somebody has to tell the Chinese that thus far and no further, and this is exactly what Dr. Jaishankar has done. I think it's fantastic going for India as far as diplomacy is concerned. The Chinese needed to be told that, hey, you're wrong. What you're doing is wrong. And our ties with you are not normal. Whatever you might tom to the world, whatever you might want to tell the world that, we have a great equation with India. And India and China, the two most populous countries in the world, making up this X percentage of the global GDP and the fastest growing economies and all that. That's fine. That is one part of it. But our equation, our relationship with China is abnormal. This is a matter for the record. Now, coming to Pakistan, there are various things that are going on, and the recent meeting between the Italian Prime Minister and the Indian Prime Minister and about this firm called Leonardo, the Augusta Westland scam that happened, that case happened. We had blacklisted, the government of India long back had blacklisted this company Leonardo. Now it's been taken off the blacklist. And there are two things and why it is connected to Pakistan. India gets top class equipment. They manufacture in India. So this will be under the aegis of Make in India. So they get the technology. There is transfer of technology, TOT, as we call it. They make in India. There are Indian jobs. India exports those things outside, earning valuable dollars. And also the fact that there has been a hint given or even a direct reference to the fact that if you do business with India, especially in weapons, you can't do business with Pakistan. So either you deal with India or you deal with Pakistan. The choice is yours. And obviously, everybody makes a beeline for India because India is the far bigger economy and Pakistan, for all practical purposes, is bankrupt. Now, another point that has come up is recently the statement by the Deputy Foreign Minister of Pakistan, Hina Rabbani Khar, who made the comment that there is strategic imbalance. India is being given a lot of conventional and non-conventional weapon systems, and this is leading to strategic disparity in the subcontinent. And the world needs to stop this, because basically what she wanted to say was India is becoming more powerful and there is a strategic imbalance, and Pakistan is not getting that kind of help, quote unquote, that it should be getting. Now, I have only one thing to say to Hina Rabbani Khar. If you have the money, you buy your weapons. Why blame India? We have our own set of priorities, and all our weapons that we are buying are not for Pakistan. We have a problem with China. We are arming ourselves. We want to become a superpower, right? Economically, we're headed there. We want our military to be a superpower military, and that calls for a lot of investment. We're calling for transfer of technology. And let me place on the record, Ms. Hina Rabbani Khar, the world isn't doing India any favors, because in this world there is nothing called a free lunch, which you Pakistanis are very fond of and have got used to. But now the chicken are coming home to roost, and you realize there is nothing called a free lunch, because now people want their pound of flesh, which is why your economy is in the ICU. As far as India is concerned, we're writing checks, we're paying in dollars or rupees, whatever the other party accepts. We're getting technology to India, we're manufacturing in India. Sometimes we're buying entire platforms from abroad, like the case of 36 Rafales. We're doing all of that. And if Pakistan can afford it, why not? Go ahead and buy it. Nobody is stopping you. But you can't say that ask India not to buy simply because we do not have the capacity to buy. Not only is that grossly unfair, it's also grossly illogical. Coming back to certain points about Pakistan, now the Pakistani rupee has taken a beating of hideous proportions. It has sunk 19 rupees to the US dollar in one single day. There is something called the Peshawar exchange rate, and I don't know how to explain it to you because this is weird, but I have known it for some time now. But I didn't know that, or I didn't think that IMF would get into these nooks and crannies of Pakistan. What happens is that a lot of Afghans who come into Pakistan, they pay 20 rupees additional and buy a dollar and take that dollar with them to Afghanistan. That is called the Peshawar exchange rate. And it's an informal system of taking away dollars from Pakistan that the Afghans do. For example, just to give you an example, if the Pakistani rupee is trading 280 to a dollar, what the Afghans will do is pay 300 rupees. If it's trading 250, they'll pay 270. They'll pay 20 rupees extra or whatever the bank rate is and take those dollars. So they pay that money They take the dollars, and this is one of the ways and one of the reasons why there is a flight of dollars from Pakistan to Afghanistan, because they pay a premium. Now, there has been an artificial control of dollars against the rupee, the rate of the rupee against the dollar, by the State Bank of Pakistan, and this is exactly what the IMF has told Pakistan: stop this. Let it flow naturally, let the market dictate. And when Pakistan agrees to let the market dictate, the rupee sinks 19 rupees to the dollar in one night of trading. And it's not that you have 285.09, which is the current value of the rupee against the dollar. It's not that you have this money and you'll get $1. Over and above this, you'll have to pay a premium in Pakistan, because the dollar in Pakistan is like the dodo, it's extinct. There are no more dollars. And there is something very dangerous that the Pakistanis are doing. Something very dangerous that the State Bank is doing. And this is going to, further scare the people. Pakistanis have dollars in their private accounts. They're allowed to keep dollars, and they do keep dollars. There are rich families. There are other people also who have kept dollars for a rainy day, because they know that the Pakistani currency is virtually worthless. So, these people have kept dollars in banks. Now, if you see this, and this tweet by the State Bank of Pakistan says, total liquid foreign reserves held by the country stood at US 9.27 billion as of February 24, 2023. For details, go to this X website. Now, the thing is that US dollars held in commercial banks and private accounts, how are they part of a country's foreign exchange reserves? How are they part of liquidity? This is again positioning by Ishaq Dar, the Prime Minister of Pakistan. He is positioning in front of his own people, in front of his own investors, local domestic investors, saying that we have enough dollars. The fact of the matter is, this money is not for Pakistan government to use. The Pakistani government did, at one point in time when they had those, atom bomb blasts, they had carried out these tests. After India had done it, copycat process, they also did the same. That was the time when they actually said that you cannot take out your own dollars from Pakistani banks. It was undergoing a very serious liquidity crisis, Pakistan, and they said that you can't take your own dollars. And I think this is what Ishaq Dar is doing. This is exactly what he's doing. He is telling the Pakistanis that these dollars are no longer yours. And if push comes to shove, we will take your dollars. So all the Pakistanis listening into this program, I think what you should do is, as soon as you're able to, and as soon as there is a possibility, move your dollars out of Pakistan, because your money is not going to be yours. Ishaq Dar covets your wallet. 5,000 police people deployed in Rawalpindi for a cricket match. 5,000 police people. That is the level of terrorism in Pakistan. Exactly 5,000. And there are ranges apart from this. I'm only talking about police. This is Punjab Police of Pakistan. So the cricketers can't go out shopping. They can't step out of the hotel. They can't walk on the streets. They can't go to shopping malls. They can't go to a restaurant to eat. This is a city. Rawalpindi is a city under siege. And Rawalpindi is the seat of the Pakistan Army. The general headquarters is there in Rawalpindi. And this is exactly what is happening in Pakistan. This fake narrative of Pakistan being a safe country. Come to Pakistan, play cricket. Come to Pakistan, enjoy the mountains. Come to Pakistan, enjoy the deserts. Ignore the occasional boom. But come to Pakistan anyway. 5,000 cops with automatic weapons. The senior-most people. And don't forget, this is Rawalpindi. And don't forget, there will be ISI, there will be the Pakistan Army, there will be Pakistan Rangers. There are going to be tens of thousands of people, all for a cricket match. All for that fake mirage, that fake illusion of normalcy in Pakistan, that look, we can also play cricket. Now you know what kind of serious trouble Pakistan is in. Another news, which should ideally not come under geopolitics and national security, but under comedy, is that Pakistan says that it wants to expand trade ties with the US. Trade is when both the countries trade with each other. I don't know what Pakistan sells to the United States of America. They've been selling helium for a very long time. They've been selling laughing gas to the Americans for a very long time. And I think this is another way by which the Americans can fund Pakistan, because America does not need anything. Pakistan makes a little bit of textiles and some sporting goods. There is nothing high-tech about Pakistan. Pakistan does not manufacture anything at all. There is zero manufacturing as far as Pakistan is concerned. All the companies have shut down. I don't know which trade they want to have with America. But America keeps on giving Pakistan money for some reason or the other. Sometimes it is for polio eradication, sometimes it is for gender equality, sometimes it's under the guise of trade, whatever that means for the Pakistanis. All because, and I'm telling you this today, mark my words, save this video, all because in the future, someday, the United States of America and its allies may want to re-enter Afghanistan. If they feel there is a terrorist threat from Afghanistan, which can cause damage to mainland United States of America, they will come to Afghanistan. And how will they come to Afghanistan? They will come via Pakistan. Because there are only two countries that have ports in that vicinity who can provide access to Afghanistan and Central Asia. One is Iran, which is absolutely blacklisted by the Americans. Americans say we have nothing to do with Iran, we are not talking to them, the West is not talking to Iran. So Chabahar port is closed as far as they are concerned. Second is, of course, Bin Qasim port in Karachi. That is where all the stuff comes in from: weapons, equipment, firepower, dollars, oil, machinery, everything. The troops, of course, are sent by air, but apart from that, everything else that is required, the logistics required to fight a war, they happen through Port Bin Qasim in Karachi. And America knows that if it wants to go back to Afghanistan one day, it would need Pakistan, which is why Pakistan, under various American fraudulent schemes, keeps on getting dollars. You know, as the Italians say, to keep the Pakistani beak wet. That's all that there is. You know, Finance and Revenue Minister of Pakistan, Ishaq Dar, has again made a statement that next week we are going to sign the IMF deal with Pakistan. Now, this next week has been carrying on for quite some time. This I've been hearing for the past 1 month. It's always next week, and that next week never happens. So the big question which people often ask me is that, Gaurav, do you think that IMF will give money to Pakistan? Of course it will. Of course it will. It has to give money to Pakistan. IMF will give money to Pakistan. But the fact of the matter is that Pakistan has defrauded IMF 22 times. 22 times before this one, Pakistan has made promises to IMF which they have not kept. We'll increase our tax base. Big lie. We'll tax the rich. Big lie. We'll stop subsidies. Big lie. You know, we'll keep on doing this and that to make sure that Pakistan is a stable economy which does not function on borrowed growth. Big lie. Now, this time IMF says that we will give you the money after you implement all this. Which is why, you know, the Pakistani rupee is going down the toilet. Which is why the price of everything edible in Pakistan is going through the roof. It's difficult for people to earn a living in Pakistan today. Pakistan is on the brink of a major economic collapse and a political crisis. It's all because of Pakistan's fake promises that Pakistan made over so many years. 22 IMF programs, this is the 23rd. And the previous, Finance Minister of Pakistan, his name doesn't come to mind immediately. The previous Finance Minister of Pakistan said that in the month of June/July of 2023, Pakistan will have to go in for another IMF program after this one is through. And this one is not through yet. They'll have to go in for another program. Pakistan has to return more than $20 billion in the next 1 year. And this is just the interest and the principal of some of the loans that Pakistan has taken. Now, Pakistan does not have foreign exchange reserves to return that amount of money. And you know why Pakistan is in a serious problem, ladies and gentlemen? Only for one reason and one reason alone. There is no roadmap in Pakistan. This is borrowed growth. Take from America, take from UAE, take from the United Arab Emirates, take from China, take from this and take from that. And now, take from Rothschild, a private lender. Take from everybody. There is no plan to return that money. No plan to stabilize your own economy. No plan to become economically sovereign. And this is why Pakistan suffers. And I'll end this program today by telling you what James Cleverly, the Foreign Minister of UK, said to Dr. S. Jaishankar. And what he said is that the tax rate on the BBC are not okay, and why is India doing it? And there is freedom of speech. And yes, of course, we fund the BBC. It is government funded. But they criticize us, which is the British government. They criticize the opposition. They criticize everybody else. And Dr. Jaishankar's response to James Cleverly, the Foreign Minister of UK, is absolutely iconic. And I think there is a separate fan base as far as Dr. Jaishankar is concerned. You know, everybody has started liking Indian diplomacy. They've started following Indian diplomacy. As is with me, because I always thought it was very boring. Diplomats were boring men wearing state suits and a bright tie, maybe. But with Dr. Jaishankar, it looks like a rock show. You know what Dr. Jaishankar actually told James Cleverly? He said, everybody who operates in India needs to follow the laws of the land and BBC is not special. What he meant to say was, you cannot hide behind freedom of speech. You can't hide behind freedom of expression. Tomorrow, any media house, foreign or domestic, will get up and say, we are not going to pay our taxes here. We do not want to pay our taxes. And when the authorities question them, why don't you want to pay your taxes? Why are you not paying your taxes? Say, no, you're violating freedom of speech and you're harassing us. No. BBC is free to report whatever it wants, and BBC has reported whatever it has wanted to. However, BBC needs to comply with the laws of the land. This is India. This is not England. And if you wish to do business in India, you have to follow the laws of land of India. You have to be tax compliant. There is no other way. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching Checkmate. I'll catch you again next week with some other news. Till then, have a great weekend.